Hello friends, this is Jasubakuhatsu, and welcome back to Let's Play Ristar, the final stage! Yeah, and as you can see, we don't even get like a little intro splash screen telling us the name of the planet. This is just Greedy's Palace, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Just a very short little bit of stage here. This isn't really like a full stage. There's just a brief little climb and then the last two bosses, and then that's the end of the game. Although with that said, the last bosses kind of sit in a similar vein to the difficulty spike in the last bonus stage. There's a pretty big difficulty spike in these last couple bosses as well, especially the final boss, which we'll see in a moment. But yeah, before that, we've just got this nice little climb, which is, you know, a fun little thing. Although, yeah, with that said, this is my last opportunity to show off all the little idle animations that Ristar has, so here we go. We've got... Come on, Ristar, don't do this to me. You were doing it earlier off camera. I saw you do it. Okay, maybe he's got to be on flat ground. There we go. Thank you, Ristar. So yeah, we've got ha, we've got hung, and we've got... Any second. Okay, we got hung again. He's got another one where he just kind of does a little twirl and he's like, woohoo! Or something like that. My voice, I'm kind of losing my voice here. Anyways, yeah, next to last boss here. Very similar, actually, to the previous boss in that there's basically not much to it. You just attack him over and over and over again, attack him enough times, and his little shield goes down, and then you hit him to actually do some damage. Although, it's actually a little bit tougher than the previous one, though, just because you actually get bounced farther away than with the previous boss, so you can't actually like chain bounces to stay invincible the entire time like you could with the previous boss. Although and yeah, really abusing those invincibility frames is really the only way to dodge a lot of his attacks, I find. Although yeah, with that said, oh shit, oh, I dropped an S-bomb and I died. But yeah, that was just kind of me not paying attention. But yeah, a really tricky boss, especially if you get too aggressive on him. Because yeah, like I said, trying that kind of chain bounce strategy that worked against the previous boss will not work. It still kind of works, but it's not as effective here. If you don't time it right, you will end up just bouncing off onto one of his attacks and taking damage. And yeah, that attack there too, I have no idea how you'd even avoid that other than just by abusing your bounce invincibility frames. And yeah, if you couldn't tell already, that boomerang attack can also be really aggravating until you figure out that you can actually destroy it just by headbutting it. And actually, if you leave that boomerang alone for too long, he'll actually summon a second one, and you'll have two of those on screen at a time, at once. Oh god, yeah, just like there, that boomerang can be a real hassle. And as you can see, yeah, I've died twice now. That's just pathetic. I was honestly expecting to one life clear this game. It's been a long time since I've died playing this game before. But yeah, a neat little final boss, though. Or not a final boss, but really challenging step up from the previous bosses, for sure. And yeah, and again, I said, talk about how I told you guys I hit kind of a brick wall as a kid trying to beat the previous stage. This last two bosses gave me fits as a kid. It was like weeks before I was able to beat these guys. I was just like, I mean, yeah, I've talked repeatedly about just, yeah, bashing your head against that wall over and over again, and that's what this final boss gauntlet was like for me as a kid, both literally and figuratively. I say literally. It's not really literal. It's kind of virtually and figuratively, because yeah, I'm not actually bashing my head on anything. It's Ristar who's doing it. Anyways, yeah, thumbs up. Good job on me. I only died twice. Although, as you can see, plenty of extra lives at this point to go into the final boss, and you get a nice little heal as well here. In fact, if you unlock the level select in this game, actually, you can see that this final stage actually does have the same kind of standard structure as the previous stages. The stage is considered part 1 of the world, the first boss is considered part 2, and then this is considered the boss. So it's like, you know, how every world is kind of divided into part 1, part 2, and a boss. This level is actually also divided into it. And yeah, speaking of being divided into parts, this final boss has 3 phases, and I'm doing a really, really poor job at the first couple ones, which are actually, like, dead easy. It's really only once you get to the third phase that this guy starts to become a bit trickier. Although, with that said, I might be able... So yeah, I've talked about how all of these bosses have neat little ways to speed things up. And, yeah, we're about... If I play my cards right, or play the controller right, I guess I should say, I can show you guys some cool stuff here. Nope, didn't get to do it. Oh god, I'm gonna die. So okay, that black hole attack there, it just kind of sucks. The suction increases rapidly until it reaches the point where you can't actually run away from it. Oh god, this attack is... This is a tricky one. You have to head to the left. If you head to the right, he'll hit you. Oh god. Yeah, okay, like that though. You can cancel this guy out of any of his attacks. Oh shoot. Oh god. So yeah. Anyways, yeah. Eventually the suction on the black hole will just get so bad that you'll just get sucked in and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh crap. Oh, I really don't want to die against this here, although I'm really... Oh, dang it. Oh well. I guess I'll get a... Or actually, there was something in the first phase that I wanted to show off that I didn't get a chance to do. And actually, I should have... If I had shown it off, I might have actually survived that third phase there. So... I don't know why I decided I wanted to... It's kind of a weird little psychological thing. You notice how the boss music kind of starts out with this weird little kind of trancey type tune to it, or kind of grungy trancey. There, finally got through that terrible phrase I decided to use there. Okay, anyways, so he's got this attack here that I didn't... You can interrupt him if you hit him quickly enough, but actually, if you end up taking stupid hits on the first two forms, you can actually hit those little orbs to try, and if you manage to successfully hit them, then you get... he'll drop life power-ups. Anyways, yeah, just a weird little psychological thing. You can see, yeah, now the music kind of starts to kick into gear, and I like to time it so that I beat the first phase just in time, so that the music starts to kick things up right once I get into this final phase. It's just, I don't know, it's just a weird little psychological thing that I just feel, okay, now we're getting into the groove of it. You can interrupt all of this guy's attacks, so he just never gets a chance to do anything. This is actually the quickest boss fight in the game, or at least that final phase of the boss is actually one of the quickest in the game, because you can just interrupt all of his attacks instantly if you have good reflexes and if you can predict his movements, which you actually can. His attacks aren't completely random. You can kind of predict what he's going to do. And anyways, yeah, I'm glad that I got to show that off for you guys. Yes. He made a fool out of me once, but did not fool me twice. I have nothing to be ashamed of about that final boss. And here it is. It's the ending. That's the end of Ristar. That, again, with the neat little graphical touches, you've got like this unique Ristar shooting across the front of the screen animation. Like they drew that sprite and everything, and it like flashes on screen for like less than half a second. It's just insane. And again, with the graphical touches, I just love it when games do this. Just like show you a bunch of cool artwork over the credits. I like how, I think it was Mega Man 9 and 10, and Mega Man Unlimited as well all did that, and I really liked it. And I think Klonoa, lots of games do this, where it's just they show artwork of your various feats and accomplishments throughout the game, over the credits. And it's just, again, the artwork is just so good and cute and bright and colorful, and just, I love this game. I love this game so much. I love, like, virtually everything about it. This is such a great game. And like I said, I implore you, if you enjoy games in this style, these old 16-bit 2D mascot platformer type games, you owe it to yourself to try Ristar. It really bothers me that more people don't know about this game, or even if they do know about it, kind of fail to appreciate its greatness. Oh, is this and the music. This is probably my favorite end credits music of all time, or pretty close to it. It's just the tune that plays over these credits. And yeah, it shows... And yeah, I was talking about, I failed to show you all of these cool little idle animations. It shows off all the animations for you at the end. It's like, they knew what they had here. They're just showing off at this point, really, all of the brilliant work that went into this game. Oh my god, indeed. It's just... I knew this was just what this LP was going to end up being. I just can't... I can't find enough good things to say about this game. Although with that said, now we kind of move into the second part of the credits, where the music will be appropriate for what I'm about to talk about. Really, so yeah, I was talking about how this was intended to be the successor to Sonic the Hedgehog. This was going to be the next big thing, and that really didn't happen. Like I said, this game was released in 1995. That was like right at the very end of the Genesis's life cycle. The Sega Saturn was released like three months after this game. There's like, Ristar was based, all this like beautiful work went into this game. So the amazing gameplay systems, the fluid mechanics for the grabbing and grappling, the level design, everything, I've listed these things so many times. Just all this amazing work that went into this game, and totally unappreciated. This game was not a success. There was never another Ristar game after this. That was the end of the series. A failed successor, or a failed project. Then they went back to Sonic after this, eventually, I guess. But yeah, I guess there wasn't really any Sonic game during the whole Saturn era. But yeah. So a bit of a down note that we end on. Although with that said, I'm not really bothered by the fact that there was never a follow-up to this game. Like, a lot of these really great old 16-bit games really needed sequels. Like Sonic the Hedgehog 1, they didn't quite get it there. It wasn't until I talked about that in my Sonic LPs, where it really didn't find the identity of a Sonic game until the second game. Same with Rock Ignited Adventures. There were like some things with that game. It's like they didn't quite get it. They didn't even quite get it in the sequels, but it's like, oh, and here we've got a completely different ending sequence. Like I said, there was the thing with Ristar's dad in the North American version. In the North American version, you see him reunited with his dad. Here, you just see Greedy just standing on an abandoned moon, just staring, I guess, wistfully up to the sky. But anyways, that's me talking. And yeah, other games kind of need sequels. They weren't quite there. They needed some work to be perfect. Ristar, I think, did not need a sequel. This game is absolutely perfect. There is nothing that... I really believe there is nothing that they could have improved on for this game if they had ever decided to make a sequel. It was just like... I really think it would have been impossible for them to top this. This is as close to a perfect game as I think I've ever seen. And okay, and to explain what's going on here, this is what you get from your bonus stages, is you get these little passwords, although these aren't like regular video game passwords where it's each level, passwords that get you to a specific level. These unlock kind of special extra features within the game, mainly around kind of war. Okay, so let's explain them. Anki is this little... basically unlocks an addition to the game's sound test, where you can flip on Anki mode, and it basically distorts the music, like you heard with that bird boss fight from the music stage. And so it makes it so you can apply that effect to all the music in the game, in the sound effect, in the sound test, which is a nice little feature. It's just a neat little extra. The museum code gives you the boss rush, just a standard boss rush. You can time yourself through that. I actually did that to practice some of my boss killing techniques before this LP. Round select, self-explanatory, you get a level select. And yeah, and attack, which is actually you unlock a time attack mode for the bonus stages, where you can actually practice each bonus stage and try to beat the developer times. It's actually really cool. And yeah, the bonus stages are really fun. Okay, one last thing that I didn't get around to talking about in the LP. I've got a little list here of things I wanted to talk about. I really like the bonus stages in this game. Like, they get you these cool little bonuses at the end of the game, depending... And yeah, the more bonus stages you clear, the more of these items you get, the more letters you uncover off of these passwords. And then getting all of them unlocks that final do feel. And incidentally, yeah, feel was evidently an early beta name for Ristar. Ristar was originally, at some point in development, going to be called Feel, and he had there's actually some screenshots floating out there on the internet of beta versions of the game where Ristar was called Feel, and he had this kind of silly... He wasn't really a star, he was kind of like a cross between a star and a silly-looking bunny rabbit, and he had this really stupid-looking grimace on his face, and was just absolutely dreadful design. If you go look up Ristar beta or Feel beta or something like that, you can see that stuff out there floating around on the internet. Anyways, small bit that I just forgot to mention. I really like how the bonus stages are just each bonus stage it's kind of a test of a different mechanic in the game. Kind of almost like a skill primer, where you kind of practice a different skill a different game mechanic, a different application of the basic game mechanics in each bonus stage. And I think the time attack is actually really captures that. It's really challenging to beat some of those developer times on that time attack. And that was me rambling on about the stupid bonus stage time attack for longer than I needed to. That was Ristar. I can't even think of what else I'd say about this game at this point, other than I really enjoyed it. If I enjoyed every time I play it, I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I hope you guys will check it out as well. If these are the kinds of games that you're into, like like I'm into them. You're probably into. If you follow the channel, you're probably into these kinds of games the same way I am. But yeah, definitely urge you to check this one out if you haven't. One of the greats, one of the greatest. For all the reasons said many times previously in this LP. Yeah, so yeah, and yeah, thanks as always for listening to my whole rambly, just frothing, gushing nonsense throughout the course of this series. I hope it was, I hope it was enjoyable for you. Regardless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next game.